Yeah. Oh snap. Okay, now we live. We live. Yes, yes, sir. Fresh at one time to double check. Come on, buddy. All right, we good, we good. All right, so I'm gonna send this link out to IG and we're gonna rock and roll and people gonna come and go and we're gonna try to put this on a schedule from now on so it won't be no issues. But it's been a long time no see that we got you, WiseWater Blake. We've been they've been not only me but other supporters, especially from last night. He was asking about Bobby Cash, but there'll be some other supporters asking about when you coming through, and it's like cat and mouse when we try to like set up something. But I got it under the wraps. What's up with you though?
I've been pretty good, man. I've been, just working on stuff, trying to kind of evolve what I have going on. And then, from that evolution, try to make it into something profitable and something that can last multiple generations.
Okay, and that's what you're doing right now with this art because matter of fact, I'm gonna drop your IG link in the chat right now so people can see what's up, so they could definitely like rock with it. So this right here, for instance, which one you want me to click on?
Uh,
For,
Click on
for
the
the,
ones the goat and the that
for
one
the
work.
goat.
That one work. Any video.
We're gonna go through all of them regardless, so it don't matter. That thing loud.
The 3000, a notorious crew known for their ruthlessness and cunning. They've been making waves in the criminal underworld, and their reputation precedes them. Word on the street is they've pulled off some audacious
Has a
heists,
little echo to it.
leaving a trail of chaos in their wake. They're a force to be reckoned with, no doubt. But so am I. I've earned my own reputation through years of hard work, meticulous planning, and precise execution. I've faced tough opponents before and come out on top. The 3000 may be a challenge, but challenges are what I thrive on. I won't underestimate them, though. I know they're dangerous, unpredictable, and hungry for power. They're a threat to my turf, and I won't let them interfere with my operations. I'll keep a close eye on the 3000, gather intel, and stay one step ahead. They may think they're untouchable, but I've seen it all in this city. I'll play my cards right, leverage my contacts, and strike when the time is right. The 3000 may be the new kids on the block, but I'm not ready to see my territory just yet. They better be prepared to face the consequences of crossing paths with me. This city is big enough for both of us, but only one of us will come out on top, and I intend for it to be me.
Okay. Okay. So
So,
with that process, like with that creative idea, like where did that came from? How did it start? It?
so the person that was talking is Clean. Clean is in a comic root race it's basically a crime novel, and a crime novel is just a rogues gallery of villains of a spectrum of evilness. So no one is really good, and it's a neo noir story. So when you see noir stories, there's not really too many good people in there, and it's kind of just trying to shape what is good and evil. And the Clean is best way to describe him is his type of job is how Lester is on Grand Theft Auto 4. He kind of he is the backbone behind jobs. Oh, I'm sorry, you just going to show that.
Dang, you gave me now. My bad. I was just going through the images while you was explaining that. But Lester from Grand Theft Auto, I remember that's the guy with the cane who had been the brains behind things.
Right. So that's what clean is within the concept of root races. That it's hard to find a job title that best describes it as a Lester type of person. So clean is a seasoned criminal. He specializes in home invasions, armed robbery, and he has an addiction to a diamond collection. So he collects very rare diamonds, and he
Gotcha.
is in cahoots with a casino cult called the 3000, which wears uh, Anubis face mask as a telltale sign of who they are. And they are basically a group of people who stole land from the Comanches to create like a city state, which is just one big sprawling pyramid casino, which the people of Dallas go to and congregate. And they have this hypnotic effect with the slot machines and games that allow them to give the people within Dallas into greater debt. And then that great debt creates power for them. So when you get powerful people into debt with you, you create this powerful dynamic. And then now they're stepping on the toes of other powerful people, which Clean is one of the power people that they're stepping on toes with. And there's another group called the Red Council, which no one calls it the Red Council. There's like they are, which would be equivalent to a Illuminati type of group. This Illuminati type of group is then create many types of shell companies. One of the shell companies is Pitchfork Energies. One of the engineers for the Pitchfork Energies was Sam Jacobs. Sam Jacobs was in deep debt. He didn't pay. So as a expression of power, they killed him to levy their force into Dallas. So they're trying to create a ripple effect in the power dynamics of Dallas, so they can then basically take over certain sections of it. The Red Council didn't like that because that's their shell company Pitchfork Energy. They basically steal and embezzle money from the people of Dallas through hiking up energy rates during storms, because in this story, Texas has an abnormal amount of weather events, weather phenomena, whether it's constant tropical storms, constant hurricanes, constant tornadoes. So they're under constant threat. So it creates a way that they are. Then the Red Council is embezzling money by hiking up energy prices, and the 3000 disrupted that by killing one of their main engineers.
So we talked about this a while ago, and because the story, the image that you setting up through this art that you're doing, it kind of goes right intertwined with reality. Remember, you was talking about the currency and about with money, and you had said a long time ago, like your money's not good here. Is that the similarity of what you're doing in this universe right here?
Yeah. So in this world, it's after World War III. So Texas is its own state. Dallas is a sovereign city within Texas, while it still has to pay contributes to the governor of Dallas. I mean, the governor of Texas. It's all in all its own thing for the most part, similar to like how Vatican City is its own thing, but it still has correlations to Italy. So it's after World War III. This is like right after World War III. So this is based in maybe like 2029, 2030. So right after World War III, the United States is in shambles. The political system in the United States is in shambles. The nukes, there were no nukes per se blown up. There were actual, what they used these things called weather weapons to destroy a lot of the foundation of the global society at hand. And some of these weather system weapons, AIs, went out of control, and now they're just kind of just sending out random tornadoes to places and random weather events to places. And now the world looks similar in effect, but it's constantly raining. It's constantly that. So like really the villain of the story is really the weather. Certain parts of Dallas is only accessible through boats. And I think this is cognizant of how the evolution of how wars will be fought in the future. But you can see like how someone can kind of make a cloud rain by changing the precipitation in clouds, and formulating that and making it rain. You can evolve that into making it thunder, evolve that into making tornadoes, turning that into a whole host of weapons that can be then targeted into different types of city. Then it'd be harder to tell who really attacked you. A nuke, you can tell who attacked you with the nuke, but you can't tell somebody who hit you with a tornado. So it's that kind of evolved the weapons because mutually assured destruction. You can't. If someone shoots a nuke, then they're going to shoot a nuke, and it's the end of the world. The
Yeah.
United States government, along with Israel, France, Great Britain, the Western powers implemented weather technology, weather weapons, and the use of pre-proxitized AI, meaning that even if the AI was somehow caught, the AI is then isolated in a way that you can't correlate who made the AI for this weapon per se. So they basically attacked the world in that way. They eventually did figure it out. So the Chinese government sent out their own types of weapons in the form of, and this is kind of COVID styled attack where they made certain genealogical DNA sequences more susceptible to sicknesses, which killed a lot of the population within the United States, namely the white population. So that's why you see a lot of black people in the comic or in the animation, is because the white population is kind of wiped out from the Chinese created
Okay.
viruses.
Well, real quick, with like you was explaining about the weather situation, or like with mutual assured destruction.
Mhm.
That right there is like real time. So my question for you, because your universe, what you created, is very reality, like futuristic. What I'm trying to say is that why isn't that there a specific country, like let's just say North Korea? I know there's many more. Do they be like on some YOLO and just launch one out? You know what I'm saying? Like why they don't like? What's the hold up? Like is everybody sane around the
So
world? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
so the United States propaganda will bolster up their enemies. So United States will bolster their enemies to show that they're a threat, so they can then increase military spending. In reality, North Korea is an extremely poor country. They're uh, bolstering or shooting nuclear missiles into the sea is really like a 5-year-old with a handgun. That if their main places be a buffering zone for China, because South Korea would be considered a westernized country. South Korea and Japan would be considered a westernized country.
Yeah.
North Korea is just a buffering zone for China, and the only reason why uh, they could destroy Seoul with a nuclear weapon, and that may be a case, but that's extremely unlikely due to that. Um, the entire population of North Korea, for the most part, 90% of it is malnourished. Communism, where it's only focused in Pyongyang, Pyongyang. The outer edges of North Korea is just is they eat rats, grasshoppers, they eat insects to survive. There's really no competition when if the military structure of the United States will go up just with North Korea will be destroyed within a matter of weeks. Now, one was like, well, how did Afghanistan or the Al Qaeda's or the Taliban stood up against the United States? And then we'd be like, well, it doesn't matter. It's a change in policy. The reason why one would say that the United States failed in Afghanistan is because there was never a reason to succeed. The entire concept of the war in Afghanistan was a training ground for the big war, which is World War III. Well, Afghanistan was just training for the United States to maintain the ability to send tanks 7,000 miles away, to send ammunition 7,000 miles away, and then have the infrastructure to back that up. No other country can do that, and they basically did that to prepare themselves for the fight against China and Russia. So then once the next phase of the plan came to fro, then they basically just ended the game and then into the next phase of the game. So they have the military structure of how to send tanks and army men 7,000 miles away. Now they need to create a way to send ammunition and munitions to multiple different sectors of the globe. That's not necessarily just not necessarily just the United States government, armies or Marines. They have to also have to have the infrastructure of sending ammunition to their allies. So now they're training on how to do that. So the entire process of it is people will say that they lost. It was just it was never something to win. It was just it was a testing ground to test out how to do certain type of formulation, certain type of grand strategies. And then once those grand strategies are played out, the next phase of the war of the pre-Great War is to then send out how to send ammunitions to our friends, and then also have Russia at the same time deplete its resources. So once it's deplete its resources, they can just focus on China. So once once the Russians deplete all their resources in Ukraine, because they're just trying to make Ukraine into a buffer zone for the so they have space between them and the Western countries. Once that's done, then the Russian government as a whole will cripple under its own weight. And once it cripples and gets its own weight, it'll no longer be a country. It'll then fracture up into multiple different countries, and then it'll be infighting, and then it'll destroy itself. And then they'll just focus on China.
Okay, I like how you have the military tactics or strategic ways that they could, execute that. And I just like how you intertwine that with this universe that you created. Another good question is this the same guy that you had on your recent one? Like, he kind of give me like the 50 Cent uh
Okay, that's
power
Wayne
vibe.
Perry. Yeah, have you ever heard of Wayne
Okay.
Perry?
Oh yeah, wait, what's his name? Rico, not Rico.
Alpo.
Uh Alpo, yeah,
Yeah.
from DC.
So his nickname is Silk. His name is Silk. So Wayne Perry's nickname in DC is Silk. So that's Silk Perry, and
Okay.
he is an extortion artist. He was an extortion artist in real life. That person in the comic book is also an extortion artist. He ended up extorting one of the mayor's friends, and that ended up him getting an 8-year sentence in prison for aggravated extortion. So that's where he's at now. And then his second in command, who's supposed to take over, which is white. He's white. This white dude named Leon, who was also in the Marines. He was found shot in the head and thrown over a highway with hanging from a highway from five of the people, and one of the five people was the mayor's assistant, Mark Rowler. So Danny Hughes was investigating Leon for a kidnapped family. Someone kidnapped a group of black Nigerian family who was considered geniuses, and the 6-year-old graduated high school already. The 12-year-old already has a PhD. The father is into creating crystalline structural realities based off of these monks. After their entire life of meditating, and you burn their bodies, there's these pearls. This is an actual thing. Like there's these pearls that are left, and they're called Saralie, Sairie, something like that. If you look up monk pearls after they die on Google, you'll be able to pop up. And from there, he's basically proposed that you can create alternate realities based off of light, ensuing light resonance into these pearls, and then by placing the light resonance into these pearls like a prism into a computer, you can create an alternate reality. So then that kind of backs up into there's a concept called heaven, but the E is a 3, so it's heaven with a and they're the rich and powerful basically get their souls uploaded onto this basically computer program so they can live in heaven for eternity, and then they allow this if their family keeps sending like $10,000 a month to maintain the program. So like now they're creating a heaven within this earth. So
I like how you put that down right there. Especially, is this the right thing right here with the monk's pearls, like you were saying?
no, it's not.
Okay, what was it again?
Type in monks, Tibetan monks have pearls and have crystals in their body after they die.
Have crystals and body and dead. Okay. In fact, they are well documented within the annals of Buddhist literature called Sharia.
Yeah, it's
Sharia.
30. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
they are generally described as pearl or gem-like deposits collected from the ashes of spiritual masters after the cremation. Traditionally, they are taken to be signs of the deceased spiritual attainments. So, like with vibrations, so can we say for we all vibrate at a different at whatever frequency that we on. How is it? So my question to you, like, okay, you got testosterone, you got hormones, and that interact with your emotions, your feelings, and that interact with your thoughts, and your thoughts interact with your external and internal body. It's like we know that, but how do I say this? Like with me, I have like history of anxiety attacks. If I overwork myself or something like that, your mind, can you like, do you understand the depth of how your mind could create reality off of vibrations or something like that?
So everything can be described in as energy, vibrations, and frequencies. And energy, vibrations, and frequencies are all really the same thing, just at different levels of understanding it. So someone could, the electrical impulses in your brains could be represented as vibrations, and then vibrations out externally has an effect on how those vibrations are, are frequent, the way that your body interprets the frequencies of the electrical impulse, and then they can then over time magnetize. So electrical magnetism, there's a connection between electrical magnetism. The electrical is like the left, magnetism is like the right. So there's this polarization of electrical magnetism that has an effect on everything, and that everything has an effect on thought quality. The thought quality has an effect on how thoughts are perceived, and that the thought perception of how things are perceived are then correlated with how you perceive a reality. And then the perception of reality can create a whole host of nuances that can then correlate from a whole host, almost an infinite host of perception, depending on many acausal events that can causal events and acausal events that that have an effect on you over time.
All the time you say that. So since this is like the chart, what do you think of this chart right here? Because how you explain it and how that is like 24/7, it's no off switch. What what is the steps or something that somebody could
But
raise their yeah, we think, man.
meditation, so meditation, you turn your thoughts off, right? So when you turn your thoughts off, you're basically the original source of something. And then in Gnosis Christianity, specifically Samuel Anwar's concept of Gnosis Christianity, um, he refers to as when you turn your thoughts off, you have a connection with your innermost, and the representation of the innermost could be considered a connection with God. God is the original creation of, like, not the creation, the original thing that was not created. Thoughts are created. So by meditating and turning off thoughts, you are connecting yourself with the uncreated. And then that's what kind of Buddhists do. That they try to become uncreated. When one says they're trying to become uncreated, that because they're trying to merge with the all. Merging with the all is merging with God, And in Christianity, merging with all is when Jesus Christ was on the mountain and he flew up into the sky and he disappeared. That's the emergence of all. It's also considered in Gnostic Christianity the three mountains.
So I like how you put it like that, but why is it like, let's say if we got, okay, like throughout the day we have, they said this is something that they said on articles. We have over 70,000 thoughts a day, and I know that our thoughts is not ourself, but how do we be constantly drifting? It's like, for instance, if I get overwhelmed, I want to get this and that done, da da da. How would you approach that with meditation? Because some people, they may be like, oh, meditation is just, it's not getting no action or nothing that my thoughts want me to get accomplished, if that makes sense.
So, can you repeat the question? I'm not really understanding.
So yeah, my bad, I made that thing complex, but in other words, to simplify it on the average person, what is meditation going to do with me wanting to reach the desire and the thoughts that I be getting consistently?
It would
Like how,
eliminate
yeah.
it eliminate desire and want. So that the goal is to eliminate to want and desire things, because once you die, and this is just this the theory is that all the wants and desires are become a form which you have to confront after death. So it's like all the wants, desires, and Rudolf Steiner said this. Rudolf Steiner said that all of the things that you think become animals and demons that eat you after death. Or so like all those like wants and desires have an effect on you how you are treated after you pass away. So so this is going to be like someone's death. That's a school teacher, maybe maybe considerably different than someone who's a serial killer. It's the things that you thought about become the observer, and then from the observation of you dying, you see the things that you was thinking about instead of the other way around. So
So you saying, oh my bad, go ahead, finish.
so this kind of brings it back to just kind of off topic, but so there's these things that actually want that to occur. So in a book that I read, this I think his name was D.K. Blackwood, or N.K. Blackwood was like, I think it was like a black magician of sorts. They are attempting to, there's different levels of the astral, and then you have the solar body, the lunar body, and then you're basically creating through your thoughts and actions, you're creating different types of bodies and different dimensions. So someone could, in effect, permanently fixate themselves into the astral plane, and then from that fixation of the astral plane, they did you Google dark magician? And then the Yu-Gi-Oh thing popped up. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's funny. So the I think it's D.K. Blackwood or something like that. He refers to these as energy vampires, and these energy vampires are living within what the Kabbalists would call the Qliphoth. And the Qliphoth is something that is the shells or the throwaways of all the dimensions that are positive. So the negative dimensions would be like the shit and poop of the sewer system of the positive. So that's they're basically the negative aspect of it. So that means that they're staying in a lower realm of reality, which is the Malkuth, the physical reality. Malkuth is related to like the universe that we're in right now, and then below that is what we call true hell. So like even if you die and you have a hellish existence, you're still technically in the lower astral realms of Malkuth, which is Earth. But you can go so far and so crystallized to the point where then you escape this actual reality, which now you're in the Qliphoth, which is basically the one we refer to as the abyss, the thing that Lucifer fell from and basically created a path to earth to heaven, and he fell unto what you would call the true hell. So inside true hell, there's like this is Kabbalism, or this is um, mysticism, or whatever you want to call it. Those two are not the same thing, but they do have some correlations, overlaps. Um, inside those worlds are like what one will refer to as vampires or monsters of sorts, and then one can kind of see this as a type of extraterrestrial existence, something that's foreign to our reality, just similar to like how we could refer to as dinosaurs, even though they lived in the same plane as us. They're technically could argue that they live in a different dimension, since that someone from the stars will look over here, thousand light years away. They'll look into like Earth, and they'll see dinosaurs instead of us, because when you look into the space, you see the past. So if this these are the same type of correlates, you seeing these things, or you looking at a different type of isolated time slots that are not in the same timeline as your type of evolutionary DNA sequencing strain. So the way that they evolved was so different that they have a different type of living, even though they may live. And then we can argue that the dimensions are still overlapping on each other. So I kind of had the concept of how we explained that earlier. Like last time we talked, the concept of dimensions overlapping each other, even though the Mars may seem that it's millions and millions of light years away, but it's only seen a million light years away because we're living it within the space time continuum. Whenever you step out of the space time continuum, and you're no longer adherent to that paradigm, uh, space is no longer a thing, so everything is clustered together. It's hard to conceptualize how that is with a finite mind, and that's used to time sequences and stuff like that. But it's basically everything is in reality is connected together. Everything that you perceive is here, and everything has the ability to have a type of perceptual effect on how you perceive things, has the ability to connect with you, and that connection with you is outside of space-time continuum. And that since that's space outside of space-time continuum, if you're outside the space-time continuum, you can connect to it. So if it's something that's million years away, it's still layered on top of you due to your perception of it and connection of it. So to say all that is these, going back to the decay thing, these things feed off of humans the same way we feed off of chickens, or we feed off of they're outside the same way we feed off of plants. They gain substance through eating our emotional output. So if an aura, right? So if you can see someone's aura, you see a certain type of thought, you can tell that they're having a certain type of thought because of like the energy vibrations are having a certain type of wave frequency. Sometimes the egregores, or these thought vampires, will then come eat those type of frequencies around it, and then they'll try to promote those type of emotions over and over and over again, so they can have more source of the food for a long period of time. This is some of the things that you'll see in a clip of, not all of the things, obviously, and this is some of the things that are inside that type of hell. And then like our ability to perceive is like, so when you see something, there's no such thing as like you just imagining things, right? You can't just imagine something that has no type of existence within any realm of reality. Any type of imagination, the type imagination, you are connecting with something on some sort of realm that has some sort of connection to. So we see vampires in movies, horror movies, and things like that. That's really a connection to a lore, an infra reality that has a basis within our reality. And since we're living in Malkuth, and lower aspects of Malkuth, what would be considered fake hell, like say you're just a bad person, and you go to a hell state of, or a body of, the the Tibetans call it a battle state. Battle state is basically, we're basically living in an afterlife right now. We have multiple reincarnations. This is a type of afterlife. When you die, you can live in another type of afterlife, depending on how your karmic relationships is. You will get mathematically sent to a different reality that has more laws, and the more laws that it has, be more crystallized, and then it's more stress, more violence, more death, more pain, and then to the point where you get so crystallized that you kind of get shot out of the system. And you get shot out of the system, you go into the Clippeth, and the Clippeth is its own world. And then some say that even the God Himself, or the thing that is uncreated, cut off interaction with these sets of worlds. And there's this comic book called The Dark Knight Metals or something like that by Batman that really explained how that reaction to it is. And it's basically like there's competing forces that are, I wouldn't say equal to God, but there's competing forces that have the ability to destroy reality as we see it right now, and do function of like how in order for the Matrix to subsist, to survive, he had to cut off. Whoever had to cut off these sets of worlds, and these worlds were sets of galactic entities, and these sets of entities no longer have a connection with this reality. And one could describe it as the dragon that fell with Lucifer, or the dragon that fell with Lucifer would be considered one of those Klipothic realities. Another one is you could be like throwaway gods. So another thing is Lucifer was considered a light bearer, and then it was also considered a very positive thing before Christianity, and then all gods that were against Christianity. So Christianity basically made all gods evil on their path to make Christianity more popular within the minds of humanity. So like any gods that was pagan, regardless of who they were considered to be evil.
Yeah. I like how, my bad. You was going in right there, going behind the surface, and I saw that comment with Static 86 said, "You fools better be having a blessed Sunday."
Yeah.
But yeah, that it just resonates. That's why I wanted to say it, because for instance, like what you was talking about with the slinging, like how you was giving a description on the reincarnation constant, and you said eventually you get slinged out, and you had went on, like, that's why I kind of lost you at a little bit when you were saying about the hell and everything, because I need a diagram to damn near draw out the situation. You was like in a circle, and then you just sling out like that. Can you see what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, just go ahead.
Can you make do you know what the Kabbalah looks like? Or the
Damn.
Yeah, you know how to make the Kabbalah is like a
It's a Kabbalah drawing.
oh yeah, let me pull it.
Like, is it? Oh, I knew you talking about. Oh, that's that. Oh, damn. All right, hold on. Give me a second.
All right, so
all right. Jeez. Okay, let me this, right?
So yeah. So imagine that inverse. So
Okay.
I don't know the three. Okay, so the three towers of paths, right? So the left path would be like Satanism. The middle path would be Christianity, and
Okay.
then the path of Christ, and then the right path would be like this, like a positive path. So like, excuse me. So like, left path would be Satanism. Right path would be like a type of knowledge base, like Luciferianism. Then the middle path would be Christianity, and then Rudolf Steiner kind of explains it a little bit inverse, where Ahriman is the actual devil, and then Lucifer is not necessarily a good thing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing either. It's kind of based like a knowledge-based concept. And then
What
Christ.
number? Real quick, what number? What you said with Christianity, is that the 6 or the
No,
3?
like you see the little totem poles at the very bottom.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. So left. So you can access the higher levels of reality through the left, middle, and right. You
Left,
know,
middle. Okay, so left, middle, and right there. You talk about
yeah.
that?
Mm.
And these is the realms. This is like the
Paths
what
of,
is this?
so like when we were explaining how Lucifer fell from heaven to earth,
Okay,
he created a path. That falling created a path to heaven.
all right.
Christ going coming down here and then going through all those trials and tribulations and then ascending to heaven, he created a path through here.
Okay,
Ariman, Ariman, which is the inferior, which is the dark reflection of God, is also a path, right? And under here, so the clip off would be under these totem poles. So here's another thing, right? So you can be evil and still ascend to a higher level of reality. But there is a certain type of corruption, a certain type of evil that is banished from all reality. And if you look, it's Qliphoth. That's how you spell clippeth.
all right. QLIPH. Oh, clippeth. And you want me to send? I could like share a diagram of that, like what the one with the snake on it, or the one.
It's like a tree with the roots. It's like you see like a tree with the roots, and
Yeah,
the
I, I,
tree.
I think I got one.
Yeah, the
My
tree
bad.
is the Kabbalah. The roots is the clippeth.
All right, let me go ahead and paste that image right here.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's the hangman. So a quick tidbit of the hangman. So in dark magic, the hangman, they'll cut off the hangman's left hand, pickle it, and then stick a candle on top of the hangman's hand, and then you would be able to see spirits by having the dead man. It has to be a dead criminal. A dead criminal's hand, and by lighting that, you'll be able to see the spirits that are around you and stuff like that. That's just a tidbit of some of the dark magic that they explain with that. So quickly, so when I say Satanism, I mean just desire. So someone doesn't have to be an actual
okay,
state. Someone doesn't have to be an actual Satanist to be a Satanist. Like so, if you desire power, um, becoming more self-strong, I. And so in Gnostic Christianity, the devil is I. When you use the word I, you're referring to the devil. And you know,
okay, hold on.
you can say English is a set of spells and things like that. The I am is referring to you is a reference of
And you said this.
you invoking the self, and the self is inherently like a Satanism, a type of
And
Satanism.
with self. And
Yeah,
what was
yeah,
desire?
any type of desire of self, and then the right would
Okay,
be, and then the right would be Luciferianism would be the structure of knowledge. So that would be that's also so now instead of self, you're looking externally for knowledge. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like you're trying to gain more power through knowledge, and then Christ is the understanding that the knowledge is within yourself, and then in most cases that self actualizing of knowledge creates self-sacrifice because you're basically sacrificing the self. So when you sacrifice the self, you're sacrificing that those internal workings of I, and then you become something that is for humanity. And then as above, so below. So it's like you are then creating you're creating yourself to become the next universe. So just like how we're basically living inside the body of Christ. Someone went through all these stages in the path of Christ, and then when those stages of path of Christ was completed, this is referred to as the three mountains. These three mountains, he becomes the universe. And this is how we have an infinity of universes, is because there has been an infinity of these relationships of people going through. So a lot of a child will be satanic because they be me, mine because they don't know any better. So when they know better, they turn to Luciferians because now they're seeking knowledge because of their novices of reality. So then, whenever they have knowledge, whenever they have all that, they then realize that all this stuff they were seeking is actually within themselves. So that then they begin to sacrifice the I, and then when they sacrifice the I, they become self-sacrificing, and through that's the path of self-sacrifice, and they become love, forgiveness, and things of those natures, and then they become uncreated, like how the Buddhists are referring to, like when they meditate, they become uncreated. And then through these processes of becoming uncreated, they assimilate to the all, and when they assimilate to the all, they become their own eternal universe. You're already a universe right now. If you think about it, you have trillions of things living within you right now. And people refer to like the Earth is flat or something like that, right? It's like, okay, if someone would say the Earth is flat, is just like how someone would be like, or the Earth is circle or something like that. It's kind of both terms are adolescent, and if you think about it, it's because that's like saying like a human body is like a 5-point star. You know what I mean? It's like you have spheres and circulars all within your body. You know, so it's like you have an inner dimension where it's like something that's a straight line. If you magnify it, it's no longer a straight line. If you look closely to a circle, it's no longer all lines eventually become circles. All circles, if you magnify them, are straight lines. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, one could say that a plane of existence is a straight line. But if you live within the plane of existence, it's a spherical shape. So it's like it depending on what size you are. So you could be a person who's 6'4", 300 pounds or whatever, but you have a microscope, you're a universe that's limitless, because if you're a blood cell, you know what I mean? Like if you're a mitochondria, you're a limitless. You are an infinite thing because of how minutely small you are. And you can kind of use that case study with the same thing of Earth. Yeah, it's like, so it's like shapes and sizes. It's just a silly concept of explaining what things are with Earth.
For understanding within the common realm. So when you said about the mitochondria and the RNA and the DNA and all that, because we as a universe within you talk about like the living organisms. I remember, was it biology class? I had heard a little bit about it, but I watched this video. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, Wendigoon.
Yeah. I watched a lot of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he is very professional. I like his research that he do. Yeah.
Yeah, very. I really enjoy his. He's like Dante's Inferno, Dante's Paradise.
Yes.
Very. I really like him.
Yeah, he's sick with it, and I like
Paradise Lost. It was a very good one.
Oh, Paradise Lost. I have to check that out.
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, very good.
I like his research and how it's like almost like journalist approach with the 83 days of nuclear hell. You have that resonated with me when you were saying about we have a lot of stuff that's functioning within us and we're like unconscious of. So when he had got zapped with that proton, I believe, and he was well for like 3 days, but in the hospital, he started like his skin and his blood and his veins and arteries start to like separate it. You get what I'm saying? So when he was explaining this video right there, I was like, dang, it's like so much stuff that like we get a cut and our scar comes and we heal and our white blood cells, the cancer, all that stuff is like working within unity as like it's like a cluster of it. You kind of get what I'm saying? You could explain it better than me though.
So I was given a allegoric example of how you are a universe within the universe. You are a set of infinity. You are a set of infinities that is inside of a bigger infinity. That is inside of a bigger infinity that goes on and on and on and on and on. And one of the reasons why it goes on and on is these set paths of reality of how entities will go through paths of previously explained the Kabbalah, and then they'll ascend to the all, which however long that will take, and then become a internal universe. And the reason why we're humans, the way that we perceive ourselves as humans, is because a human-like entity went through this path, maybe like a proto-human or whatever the case may be. They went along these paths and they ascend to godhood. Now we're living within their bodies, and we are just a simulation of atoms, right? So it's like we don't see ourselves as atomic structures interacting with each other. The way we see ourselves through the five senses is choreographed and structured through a Luciferian paradigm. If you look at the Lucifer symbol, Lucifer symbol is basically the eyes interaction with the part of the brain that relays the eyes to tell what it sees. So you're basically told what you see through a lens that isn't how things actually are, because we don't see each other
Something
as
like this.
yeah,
That's the symbol that
yeah,
I typed in on Google with
yeah.
Lucifer symbol.
Because
So
colors don't, we see colors all the time, but we don't, colors don't exist. Can you weigh red? No, you can't weigh red. You can't. It's
uh,
like,
I mean, are you trying to say like your perception of red is different than my perception of red? But we do stop at the stoplight, the traffic lights, and we do go on green lights though. So
yeah.
explain that.
So the reason why we do that is the social construction. It's like social. We're engineered to do that. And we see a certain type of frequency, right? We see a frequency, and then that frequency,
Okay.
we this frequency is just a frequency within itself, a set of vibrations, right? That set of vibrations go into your eye. The eye goes into the brain. The brain then sends out signals to tell the eye that this is that. That's what that symbol right there portrays. I think it shows you, like, if you look up Lucifer symbol eyes or something like that, or YouTube or whatever, they'll have a thing like that that looks up. Let's see, Lucifer.
You talking about that show or like just what in general the saying? Because I typed in Lucifer eyes of, but that show on Netflix I think had popped up. But hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Why is it so bright red and stuff? If you said like with colors, like
So that's why some people are colorblind. They don't see colors.
how is that? Like you think? I mean, from us
There's a
said that
disruption. There's a disruption with the relays. No, that's not it. It's
okay.
I seen it. It was like in a magic book. It was
But,
like
but
an old white man, and then like the symbol was overlaid, and he was looking at his fingers, and then it showed like the entirety of what I'm talking about. So it's
so with Christ symbol, I got a question.
you said Christ symbol.
Yeah, with Christ symbol, I'm about to pull that up so you could
It's
see
a
like
Lucifer symbol. That's the Lucifer symbol.
like this, like that's the Christ. All right, I'll let you pull up on your computer and stuff. But so will we be seeing the cross? The cross is the T, but this is something that has spoke out. Like I just noticed, it's like the loops on the side of it or the cross. What does that represent? Or that's just a different design of it? Is there meaning on it?
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't.
See, I'm about to say, see, sometimes shit ain't deep all the time. But that,
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe.
okay,
I just haven't read about it. I don't know. It might
okay.
have. Rudolph Steiner did say something about the cross. But to be honest, he kind of lost me. It was kind of, it was like it was a lot. It was a lot. It was hard to digest, to be honest.
Oh, okay. He remind me of what's his name? Uh Gorgif. You familiar
Gorgeous.
with him? Yeah, Gorgif. He was Spensky's mentor. Like he's hard to digest at times when you go and read
Oh
across.
yeah, I didn't hear his name in years. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, Gorgif is like, oh, that's a whole nother level. Or Immanuel Kant, like
Man, you're coming young.
a reasoning, man, just like the Bible. I gotta go back and do study parts on it. But question for you with the cross and the fish, what symbol is that at the bottom? Because I remember I've seen it before, like a piece or
Fish girl. So again, remember when I was telling you like how the Christians kind of destroyed, like when they was going around, the priests made everything that that was pre-Christianity evil. Some of the things that they actually adopted. The Dagon, the fish symbol is representative of Dagon. And it's I think it's like the king of the fish pre neo paganism. The Vatican's who's the head priest of the Vatican? The Pope. The Pope hat is a fish. Is like looks like a fish, and this is kind of the resemblance of Christianity, assimilating some factors into their faith that were beneficial for them at the time into their religion, and then is later adopted and adapted into the Bible as Jesus Christ handing fish to people, an unlimited amount of fish. So there you kind of look at it like an egregore is a thought process that attempts to get stronger by reinforcing those thought process into different people's minds. At some
Okay.
cases, just like I always say, as below, so below. The same political structure like that we have is an inferior reflection of how politics is in higher realities. So there's politics going on in reality, in higher forms of reality, and some of the politics is referred to as some minor religions are then assimilated into major religions in order for them to live on in an agregoric structure. Agregoric structure is basically the term for thought forms. Those thought forms are then created to become stronger. The same way a city will then be taken over by a stronger city, and then they're assimilated into the mass of a new country.
Okay. That you had, so I have an understanding, a capital U understanding, where you said that that perspective and the amount of people, that's like setting a frequency wave. That's like setting the, if we're all taught or all believe that this is this, like this color red is, that means red.
Yes.
That new, that's what you were saying with the
Yeah, it creates
colors.
a new paradigm. Now that's red. Green could be red if we thought green was red.
Okay. And then if
Some people
somebody,
don't see
oh
blue.
my God.
Some people in old times didn't have a word for blue. There wasn't a thing for blue. For a long time, people couldn't see purple because purple was so rare in reality. Then when they
Oh,
did see purple, they associated with royalty, and then the royalty was simulated the rarity to purple. So a lot of purple was used into royal, like Crown Royal bags is purple. Right? Like so, it's like purple.
oh,
Yeah, these are purple. It was associated with high class, rich, monarchical thing, and also gold. So you see a lot of purple and gold, and when you see like pictures of Napoleon and things like that.
so quick question though. Where earlier you said, especially with your reality, the art that you produce, that I'm dropping the links, I'm gonna pin it for people to go follow and check out, and we're gonna watch it again. You said that our thoughts, it's like it's impossible. You said something about we can't imagine nothing that is not in our experience, right? So my example that I did a little test on my own. I was like, okay, if that's true, then let me think of another color on a scale. Not just with
There are other
Floyd.
colors. There are other
Yeah, there
colors.
are other colors, but I couldn't visualize or think of, like, see a color that I have never seen before. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
That was
because
like a challenge. Yeah.
because you're in a social construct that's creating a thing where like how would you be able to see a new color if you're told that these are all the main colors? Like you basically setting the paradigm of prism. Prism is another term for prison. That like
Oh, damn.
you see how the light I know you've seen the thing where they have like a prism and the light goes and it turns into a rainbow.
Yeah.
Right. So that you're set to a set of standards, and if you're like say you take LSD or something like that, you could probably see that
Oh.
I have seen colors that are unexplainable or off of psychedelics.
But that takes the filter cap off your mind with
Yeah, temporarily.
shrooms or
Yeah.
LSD.
I,
Temporarily, but sometimes people be terrorized. Go ahead.
one time I took LSD and 2CB at the same time, and then like almost, and it seemed like the structure of reality was unfolding, and then like how people say like I angels are like those things with like a whole bunch of eyes and like they like move around in circles. You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about? That thing came and it kind of had like a little mini hand and it kind of seemed like it was seeping, like it was like reattaching reality as I know it. Like it was like kind of like an angel of sorts was and this is the psychedelic, so you can see, whatever. Uh, it was reattaching reality because it could tell that this reality was ripped due to me being on psychedelics.
Okay, so quick question. I'm gonna put an image so people can see, for example, of a paradigm or perspective that you get when you're in these situations. Like this is one, I'm assuming, right there. What do you think about that one? There was another one that I had just came across, but I can't find it. It was like a color I didn't see before. I was like, what kind of color is that? Let me go back to see if
I kind
I
of
can find
see.
it.
I kind of see that. That's, but it mainly is fogs. So I see like almost like it's a fog, and then everything seems like it has like a almost like web. Everything has like a web to it, like things like a spider just came and like put a web on everything.
Oh, so like
That's
there's
what it's like maybe like it's type of ectoplasm of some sort. But if you see lights, like you've been by the blinds, right? And then it's daytime, right? And then you see uh, lights kind of like edge out into the shadow, and you see like like you see light kind of like projecting out of the blinds. That's when you'll see like these different frequencies of different frequencies of color. So it's not like you just see different colors like that. You'll see different colors from the different frequencies. When looking at light, almost similar to like how light would be projected into that prism.
okay. I see what you're saying. It's dang. Let me try to see if I can put another one up real quick so people can have a better perspective. What about something like this? That's just cliche.
I'm sorry.
Is that like what you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so when you were saying with the light and you look in the blinds and then from like away from your retina, like you saying like how the light it's hard to explain what it do, but
So
I know what you're talking about.
so
Yeah.
your eyes are dilating, going back, like doing this, right? So
Yes.
when they do that, you have like a small chance of seeing higher frequency higher frequency colors. There's an infinite amount of colors. You only can see like what like have like I don't know how many colors there are, but like you could from white to black, brown, green, orange, and then and this is also another example of a set of infinities. From white to black, you can create an infinity of colors. Turquoise,
From just whites and black, from white to black.
from
Uh
from spectrum white to black, from nothing to all
oh,
colors.
okay.
Because if you put all the colors together, it make black. So,
Okay. That's what you talk about the prism thing. Well, just in general, it's more not just with the prism of light, but it's more other aspects, like you saying with turquoise and these other colors, burgundy,
those
all
are only
that.
like, yeah. So again, then most colors can go off of red, green, and blue. So like you'll see like a video game will have like remember like when you poke the thing in the old video games, they had like the red, the blue, and the green thing that you hook up to hook up to the computer.
This RGB, I think, or
Yeah, RGB. Yeah, so like you can create all the colors from that, and that's the basis for most colors. You can pretty much create all colors from red, blue, or green. Yes, technically you can't create colors off of white, but white is kind of a standard. You know what I mean? Like basically like nothing. He's like from white would represent nothing, and then black would represent everything put together.
okay. So another example, what you just explaining, can I use an analogy? Is that like a realm where I was a kid, go up close to the TV screen when you're playing a video game on a Nintendo and you hook those RGB plugs in?
Yeah.
What is, this right here was I forgot what you call it, the pixels or something. In the old time heavy down furniture TVs, and you put your eye close to the screen and you see that, and then when you zoom back out, you see a different visual of the game. Is that something that I can use as an analogy to what you're saying with, you
Uh,
know, perspectives? Yeah.
so the color like it. So the high. So I think the highest. So we say purple. So colors have frequencies, right? The higher level of frequencies is like purple and indigo. The color that I was prescribing looked like a color that's higher than indigo. So it had a purplish indigo hue to it, but it wasn't the same way pink kind of looked like red. It looked like a higher level of those colors. It's like like a purple indigo color that wasn't either one of those. Because red kind of like orange kind of like pink. Well, no, pink kind of like red has some like burnt orange has similarities with red. like higher frequencies of those colors of purple and indigo. Because your eyes are dilating, your eyes can then perceive a higher vibration at that particular time. When you perceive a higher vibration, you have a chance of seeing a higher level of color.
Okay, and that's what you was going to with frequencies of, because it's within that frequency. That's why it's like, oh damn, I clicked on something I should not click
of mobile communications.
All right, give me 1 second. Oh no, my screen. I'm good, yo.
Talking to me? Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
What do you mean?
So, for instance, let me zoom in on this one. What you were saying about frequencies, you know, the cell phone towers, right? Our cell phones that we got in our hand, that what we're talking to right now, like this video right here just explain what you mean, because right now we talking like with the microwave and with the modem, the router, these are constant frequencies that are going through within us. Like, my question to you is, okay, if there's frequencies like what's in my ear, all that's going through us, or what about with the X-rays or the microwave? Like, how does that be turned into like what they call radiation or something? Like, what's the concept of that? Like, all from
So some vibrations can kind of affect your vibration because everything's so if atoms are constantly shaking, right? There's nothing that's standing still in reality. Atoms are constantly moving like this, and if a vibration has an effect on the atomic structure of your atoms, it can then have a negative effect on how it shakes, and then that negative effect how it shakes will then multiply. Now you have cancer.
Wow. Like, so it just affects the blueprint of that atom.
It affects the blueprint of the atom. Most vibrations aren't on the same frequency or not close up to the same frequency of like your atomic structure, so it doesn't have an effect on it, so it goes straight through you. Like neutrinos or things like that. Or there's things with no weight. There's things with very little weight. So that they have an effect on.
In the world? That was so. With that being said, how is there? How I explain it? Like, okay, so going back to the cell phone thing, like with the vibrations, I'm gonna have to pull that video up right there, and I'm gonna have to stop at the part so you can see what I'm talking about. It's like kind of, when you don't know something, you just learn something. It's like you're getting to grasp the concept of it. What took me a while to try to get the concept and grasp of is uh atoms and vibrations, like how some go through certain substances and how some sticks, like, you get what I'm saying, like a solid and something that else is like a gas form. It just feel like it's concepts that we come up with to explain it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we are socially constructed to view gas as a certain type of vibration, other things a certain type of vibration, because it benefits us to know that this is a gas, because this gas may be poisonous, or this gas may not be, or we see it a certain type of way, we don't see this, so it'll make more sense to call this a gas and not call this one a gas. So due to how we perceive things is how we'll start to label things, because a lot of knowledge is basically based on categorizing, cataloging things that we see, and then that's kind of a basis of like a benchmark of knowledge.
Exactly. So, like, for instance, that what you just said right there. Oh, damn, let me put this on mute. What you just said right there, this, you see that thing that's coming out?
Yeah.
Wave, atoms, like how all these descriptions we're doing. This is another example of what we make the perceived standard norm to understand, to, like how you said, oh, this gas or this waves or whatever is dangerous, and this one is okay. So it's beneficial, and it's kind of, what's the other word? It's beneficial so we can understand, like, okay, that's dangerous, okay, and this is good. But on the other end, it's like with your thought process, like, but so much words in the dictionary, but so much like systems to think within. It's like entrapment.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my end of the rabbit hole right there. I know through more experience that you have and more understanding and the way you articulate your words, you could go all the way on. But yeah, me, I'm just getting the drift of it, and that goes to show with what had gave you the idea of creating what you create right now.
So root races is. Can you look up the term root races and pull it up?
I'm about to do that right now for you. Root races. All right, everybody can see this. Root races are stages in human evolution in the esoteric cosmology of Theosophist Helena
Uh,
Petrovna.
Theosophy.
What?
Theosophy.
Right. Yeah, so that what else is saying? As described in her book, The Secret Doctrine, 1888, these races existed mainly on now lost continents. You want me to look at
Yes.
images or click?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just click the
okay,
second one.
okay. The second one, right
Yeah.
here.
No, go left.
This one?
No.
I'll just zoom back out.
Yeah,
Which one?
second. There you go. Yeah.
I didn't put it on full screen for you. Go ahead.
So can you kind of zoom in a little bit?
I'm
Is it
about
possible?
to. Yeah, I could zoom in right here. I got to be more quick with my navigation. How about that?
All right, cool. Yeah. So polar race was people that were completely invisible, like completely like people who did not live in a physical form. They did not live in Malkuth. That there was like they were just basically like ghosts of a sort. Hyperboreans was semi astral, so they're like half physical, half astral ether. Lemurians, they lived in Lemuria. That was by Atlantis.
Oh,
Atlantis was in America, like, but then it sunk. You kind of explain, like, it kind of explains like how all these places have a lot of history, but you kind
yeah.
of look into like why doesn't North America have history like that, and then why does South America, like Mexico and stuff, have pyramids, and why
At the
that's
core
close
of it.
that correlate with the Egyptian pyramids is because Atlantis is the original Egyptian, quote unquote, uh, uh, aesthetic, and then ancient Egypt, like super ancient Egypt, way past 4,000 years ago, were a colony of Atlantis, and they basically colonized of North Africa, which was a lot closer to North America, and then it sunk due to volcanic eruptions.
My bad. The dog's over here wilding out. So you go ahead.
Yeah, so Atlantis sunk. It came down due to volcanic eruptions. Lemuria was a place where there was a race of people that one could describe as like proto-humans. Then there was proto-humans, and then the Atlanteans came. So excuse me. So Lemuria was before Atlantis. Then Atlantis came, and then when Atlantis fell, that was the end of an era, and then now was a new era of the Aryans. Aryans is all human. Every human is so you hear the Nazis talk about Aryans, but every human is considered an Aryan race. So it's like if you're part of the human race, another human, like you will be referred to as an Aryan, in that type of circles. And people have genetic structures that have some. So like how black people would be like we came from the earth. Aryans and white people are they're not of this earth, or things of that nature. Is because there was an assimilation before the end of the era. There was a assimilation with different types of humans, and this is kind of basic. Like, people explain that there were actually different during like the Neanderthals, for example. Neanderthals lived with another proto Homo sapiens, and other ones lived. So there was three different types of intelligent forms in the millions of years ago, and then they kind of assimilated with each other, and then they created what we know now as the human race. So the Neanderthals and then the proto-humans of Atlantis assimilated together, and they created the human race as we know it today.
Well, dang. In that case, since you stating that, what was the like? Okay, these big people, big companies like Disney, the movie Atlantis, like, did they had came across some information like that? Like, what are these movies that these entertainments? I know it's like a distraction in a way, but what is
Yeah,
the
so a lot of
effort behind
stories,
it?
bro, comes from people like we all know, like, so a lot of times people will make fun of things that are true so that you don't take it seriously, right? So everybody know about secret societies, right? Like, Freemasons came from Egypt. The Freemasons originally came from those, the pre-Atlantic societies. So you can trace Freemasonry back to the days of Amun Ra, or pre super old, like many thousands of years ago. You can see them in Egypt, and they're basically the ones that the builders. The build like Freemasons are builders. Like they build things. They basically one would prescribe that they built the pyramids. They built society. They build things, and then you can use, and there's multiple layers of it. They build themselves up to have a higher functionality in society. And then they're basically these types of societies like Rosicrucianism and things like that are working in the background. And these and then you can kind of see, like, why are all the presidents are related to each other, or why are these people are in cahoots with each other. Like, it's people who are in the upper echelon of society project stories that they get from their knowledge of their secret teachings. And then they'll put it in a funny type of way so you don't take it seriously, so you don't, this. So it's like, you at this point you could be like, oh, aliens are real or whatever, but they could be like, it's so many people that will make fun of you. It doesn't matter if you had an actual picture of an alien, that they'll be like, they don't believe you. So it's like, and another thing, in a lot of cults believe this. So like, a satanic cult would be like, and this is a way to escape karma. If you don't tell somebody, you send them poison. You just poison them. If you told it to them, but you told it to them in a way that they might think that you're joking, you avoid karma because you told the person what it was beforehand. They just didn't take you seriously. So just avoid karma. It's a way to avoid karma in ways of, and manipulate people. This is a high level version of dark magic. Like so.
Dang, okay, that had went into like the cyberpunk fifth element realm right there, like how you said, like now, like with the karma and just damn, that was kind of deep, and that pretty much is what the root races that you're doing right now with, like, because when like
So
the root
root
races
raises.
as a whole, yeah,
This is a crime novel. So like, before I start talking about stuff like that, it's gonna probably be like 50 chapters in. It's
okay,
based. It's so the reason why they have a kidnapped family. So the Red Council, in Manly P. Hall, the secret teachers of all ages, he referred to a group of people who controlled the pharaohs as the Scarlet Council. The Scarlet Council controlled the pharaohs. This was a secret society that came from pre-Atlantic society before it collapsed. The Red Council in the story is people who control the mayor of Dallas. So it's like they basically control these dynamics behind the scenes, and you can see this in politics. People who control politics are behind the scenes. They're not. Joe Biden doesn't control anything. He's just a figurehead. He can barely have a cohesive conversation with somebody. So it's like he's not the control of things, and then it refers to as a deep state. And then things constantly evolve. How root races, something spiritual is then crystallized, and then that crystallization creates a path to this path, this reality, and then this creation of path of this reality, you can look back and then have a path to the all. So it's always a path of ascension and descension. And then the higher level of reality, so people in the high levels, they try to descend into reality for various amounts of various reasons. Same way, and this is similar to like, why did Jesus Christ come to earth just to get tortured and killed? You know, it's various reasons why. And this is basically to become the path of becoming your own universe.
That was real deep right there. Shouts out to Deep Impressions from coming in here, because he actually, like, when you was, I definitely want to talk to you on another time about the origins of the term vampire, and how, with Hollywood, as opposed to a lot of things, like
So
to put
a
remix
vampire,
systems.
a
Yeah.
vampire a vampire would be someone the source of it is an entity that was not human. Vampire basically turns humans into something that needs to feed on humans in order to survive.
Parasitic.
Like a parasite. This is the best way to describe it. It's like a parasite. And then in order to do that, they subsist on an astral plane that exists outside of this dimension, and then they basically just the best way to describe it is that, to go back to the DK Blackwood thing. I think his name was Saint Andrew of Romania. Saint Andrew of Romania. You pray to Saint Andrew of Romania in a certain type of way. You get an encounter with these extraterrestrial beings, and these extraterrestrial. This is hearsay, right? I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying this is what the book was saying. And then through a process, you become you become pushed out of the human race, and you become this parasitic organism, right? And this is kind of why they'll say that you lose your soul, is because you're now no longer human in this way. You know what I mean? You're no longer a human thing. So then there's this thing that's called the blood pool, is where you have to then find other humans to feed off of, and then assimilate their blood to the blood pool, and this blood pool is then assimilated to all the other vampires that are around, and then it's like this communal parasitic thing that you feed off of humans. And the same, yeah. So
blood,
I'm sorry.
reference I said, like, blood is just like the reference of it. It could be like
Energy,
taking
life
hold of
force.
somebody else's energy, life force, and getting jacked up to it, like powering up. That's the whole.
Yeah, to live longer, things like that.
Okay.
You can see it a lot of ways. So another way of parasitic things, like there would be Hindu teachers, like I would say Sadi Garu or something like that. Sadi, it's like people disagree with me about it, but Sadi Garu is also a performance of high level black magic, where he is taking the energy of the masses and then reassimilating it into himself, and then creating other bodies through that energy into other realities. So someone can be so one of the things in meditation would be like, he can be in multiple places at one time. He is dying in this body right here, but he, through his focalization of the energy of life force given by the masses, he is now living in 5-6 different realities at once. So he may be a 70-year-old man, not right here that you're seeing right now, but he also may be a 3-year-old boy somewhere in America. He may be an 8-year-old person in China. He may be a 40-year-old person somewhere in fucking Africa, and he also may have a solar body on higher level dimensions. And he's using that. He's using he's siphoning the energy and life force and attention from from his followers into his body, so he can live in multiple places. And this is a form of immortality. It's a hard concept to grasp. If we can kind of go back and forth about it. But
I like how you zoomed out on it. Oh damn! I had my connection good now.
You went black for a second, but I see you.
Okay, yeah, I understand. I kind of get the grasp of it. It's like, instead of like focusing on the blood and the intake and all that. It's more like because there might be a different motive behind it. Let's just say like somebody,
You need
uh, yeah, go ahead.
you need light. So you need energy, light. You need a certain type of energy
Mhm.
to create. Like for example, male and female create child, right? This is the Trinity, right? This is the form of creation, right? This form of creation is then reflected onto multiple dimensions. In order for this to subsist, that this male female child paradigm, masculine feminine creation paradigm, there needs to be energy siphoning in these three triangles, meaning like there must be energy going from the feminine, from masculine, and then from the feminine to child, and then vice versa. It then creates another triangle, and then another triangle creates another set of laws, and then you go into it where you're now into a crystallized different paradigm dynamic that is a different reality than what you were previously in. So a vampire would step out of this reality and just siphon the energy coming from the masculine or the feminine or the child. And then they're no longer living in a paradigm, living outside the reality. And then another book was like, I forgot, it was like some sort of teacher that lived in Phoenix called Shadow People. You ever heard of Shadow Person?
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
so
like
Shadow
Carl
Person,
Jung and stuff.
no, not a shadow person. Like you'll see in your corner of your eye like a shadow person.
Oh yeah, yeah. From okay, I get it. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
about
so that'd
that.
be like someone that's outside of your paradigm and they're feeding on you, and then they basically take the energy that they got from you and then eat some of it and then send it to other people, and then they do vice versa. So they live for a very long time in a pseudo reality.
Okay, somewhat like how the internet with data and like all that. You can look at it many different ways, but I like how you have broke that down for understanding because they try to put a structure on it, and that's like how you just open it up with it. Oh, my internet is wild. I think this might be the coming into it because hold on, you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I heard you all the time.
Yeah, I froze up. So I think this might be. I'm gonna go ahead because we about to reach the hour and 30 mark, and I'm about to time stamp it up. But for the last 3 minutes, is there something that you want to input on the show or you want to go into? Anything. Like, yeah.
So kind of like I the root races also have games, so I created
Let me
a
pull that up.
social. Yeah, I created a poker game that's available on Android. It's going to be available on iOS and Xbox soon. I have a blackjack game that's available on iOS and Android. I also have a slot machine game that's available on Android and iOS. It's kind of like 3000. It's a casino code. The casino code uh, use hypnotic methods to keep the higher echelons of keep the higher echelons of the Dallas society in constant debt, and they're just stepping on the toes of the Red Council because they were already working behind the scenes. Danny Hughes is investigating a kidnapped family. One of the people that he thought was the person who kidnapped the family was found dead, along with five of the people hanged from a highway, kind of like cartel style. Like I'm sure we all see like the picture of like
Yeah.
people being hung from Mexico, similar to that. The kidnapped family was researching how to create alternate realities through the pearls left by monks, and then this is also kind of what the Vril Society was attempting to investigate, but they was using it as energy for alternative fuels. This is why a lot of Nazis were uh, using the atomic discovery of the nuclear weapon, discovery of NASA, things of that nature. they had a different view of how the energy was supposed to be used. They were trying to use it for alternate reality. They did use it for alternate realities. Now humans live after they die. They can, their loved ones can visit them in these alternate realities, and they just have to pay a subscription fee, a steep subscription fee. So it's really based just for the super rich. And then it goes back into this is the next crystallization of Aryan race to the next root race cycle. This is even further crystallization of it, and this is like now we're living in computers. We live in our own manufactured heavens of sorts.
I'm about to say I had like that. You had went, damn. This is your site. That's what you was just explaining, right?
Yeah, that's the site. That's my website. Yeah.
And you was explaining the origins of it, like, because I have shared it in the chat, and these are the links right here, y'all. For iOS, you can click on the apps right there. It'll open up another link. Matter of fact, let me just do that right now since we come to the end of it, because I had another tab had popped open, so I want people to see how they could be able to go and get it, because I'm about to get it right after this right here. Savvy 21TM, Savvy Diamonds. These are the two apps right here.
It's called Savvy.
Savvy. I apologize. I didn't mean to butcher that, but I butcher a lot of things, so I remember it now. Savvy. Yeah, Savvy right there. Why the heck is my thing glitching? Okay, now let me go ahead and go back to the regular site right now. I done froze up, so I'm gonna turn my camera off because the internet, is doing busy stuff today. I want to get into a fiber optic connection, so I'm gonna talk to you offline with that. But again, this right here is the main website right here, and as you see, I like how you got your layout. Like you see how this right here, the holographic. What do you use, Python or you use C plus? Like what is it?
I use Adobe Illustrator. Then
Oh yeah, I got that.
Yeah, then embed Adobe Illustrator with HTML code. So it's nothing too crazy. No, it's not no use of Python yet.
But the outline of it though, so it's like the HTML, and then as of course Adobe Illustrator complements with that, and you just have. What is your server? Do you use GoDaddy or you have your own server?
GoDaddy and Linux. So it's
Okay,
GoDaddy.
Linux.
GoDaddy is the front page. The front end is panel C panel is the back end.
Yeah, I like how you guys set up and you write the impressions. It do look like graphics from Johnny Mnemonic, but that's good though. That means it could with this type of visualization, I feel as though that it could definitely tap more into our psyche and it's more oriented for business terms. Like
Yeah,
you
and
do
it's
good
it's a
marketing.
neon it's a neon noir style. So kind of talk about frequencies of light and stuff like that. Neon has this glow about it that's kind of like to me it's like otherworldly, like like how neon has this fluorescence, like you see neon lights and then it has like almost like an aura around neon, like the colors.
I love neon. This is my favorite color actually because I don't know the name of it until you said it, but I always had started with 80s retro Vice City colors at
Yeah,
nighttime.
yeah, exactly. 1000%.
Yeah, nostalgia. I love that. That's why. Yeah, you're right. It do give that different realm, that different appeal. So I know it's like blue, purple. Like we going off the foundation of what they're saying. Blue, purple, and pinkish, reddish.
Yeah.
Bloom. Yeah,
Yeah, a
I
little
love that.
indigo. Yeah, yeah, very nice.
Yeah, you do your thing on that right there for real, and that's good marketing. But y'all, I had dropped his website in the chat down below. Yeah, if y'all got iOS like me, y'all could definitely click on it and go ahead and click on the more tab right here to see, check it out. I had dropped his Instagram link in the bottom and NFT collection, all that. Get physical copies. So this won't be his last time he's going to be on here. Y'all know it's going to be reoccurring. But shouts out to Face to the Screen. You came at the end, but as soon as I end this, I'm going to timestamp it up. Let me go ahead and zoom out real quick. WiseWater, Bobby Cash dropped through, but I have a feeling that you're going to be reoccurring, of course, because there's other topics that you have more insight in, and we definitely going to need you up on here.
Definitely,
I'm
man.
still frozen. But all right, dope. Appreciate y'all in the chat. I definitely want to come back though with some more other shows and episodes, but we're bringing it back. We starting to have like what's that thing called? A reboot. Yeah, we on reboot with things. So yeah.
Definitely.
Peace, y'all. Peace. We out.